If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, May 9th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. This weekend, the California Central Coast Sectional Championships will feature Gunn High School attempting to perform as well or better than they did last year when the girls' team placed second nationally among public schools in Swimming World Magazine's rankings. And joining me today in the Finis Monitor is head coach Mark Hernandez from Gunn High School in Palo Alto, California. Coach, it's good to see you. How are you today?
I'm great, Jeff. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So what's the excitement level among the team this today as they approach this big meet?
We're very excited. We just came off of a last weekend where we won our first league title since 1989, which is obviously long before any of the girls were alive. And we swam really, really well, and we're getting much better, and we're peaking right about the right time. So we're pretty excited.
What was it like for you and for the swimmers to win this league championship?
It was odd, you know. Our rival high school, Palo Alto, had won at least 11 years in a row, and so it was a meet that we certainly weren't used to winning, and it wasn't one that we expected to win necessarily, given, as you mentioned, a lot of our graduates from last year. But you know, the team really scraped and clawed, and they fought, and they swam to the inside, and they beat people that are seeded with faster times than they had. And they all just swam really well all together.
Well, as I said, the girls' team was ranked second nationally last year. You would think last year would have been the year that you would have won the league championships. Yeah. Without Rachel Acker this year, your star swimmer last year, you're winning the league meet. So what's changed with this season?
What's changed? We just have a deeper team this year. Last year, you know, we lost a lot of spectacular stars, but we rebuilt pretty well. We may not have as much firepower as we had last year, but we just have a lot of depth, and we had people that were willing to fill roles and swam where we needed them.
Well, as I said, you lost Rachel Acker, who was your star last year. She's now a freshman at Cal Berkeley, had a pretty good season there.
Yeah.
Who's stepping into her shoes to lead the team this year?
Jennifer Campbell is our best swimmer now. She has become a very dominant force in the 200 free and the 500 free. She won the 200 free at our league championship meet by more than 10 seconds. And won the 500 free by more than 10 seconds. I mean, and that was, of course, with her not anywhere near her best times. So she's really been a staple and a very much a founding force for how we do this year.
Well, the Central Coast Championships, as we said, most people may not know, California too big to have a big state meet, so they divide it up into sections. So I would imagine the goal this season, win that Central Coast Sectionals.
Absolutely, that's always the goal, is to win your last meet. Absolutely, yeah.
And I've asked you how the girls feel going to this meet, but as a coach, how did you prepare them throughout the season for getting ready for not just the Central Coast Sectionals, but being able to do so well last week at the league meet?
Yeah, that was our big thing all year. Was we didn't want to talk a lot about everyone we lost. I mean, you mentioned Casey, you mentioned Rachel. We also lost Casey Lincoln and Julia Ma, who now is at Stanford, and Maggie McKenna. We lost a bunch of people that scored a CCS for us and very much made up the bulk of our lineup last year. So we didn't really talk about them a lot. We just sort of had to be very patient, and we just told people to sort of have faith and not to hold themselves to standards of like a Rachel, a Julia, Casey, and Maggie, but more to hold themselves to their own standards and to sort of just do the best that they could do.
Palo Alto, California is a hotbed of young swimming talent. How much of your team is drawn from the USA Swimming Club team, and how much of them are just high school only?
That's a great question. A lot of them. And, and we are very blessed to have Palo Alto Stanford Aquatics is our primary feeder USS program. And those coaches do a great job. Rachel, of course, worked with Scott Shea. Julia last year worked with Tony Betas. And, of course, their swimmers, Scott's and Tony's, and Dana, Kirk's, they still feed our programs, extensively. And then we're mostly PASA, but we get to CCS scoring. Most everyone who's going to finish the top 16 in CCS has got some USS background at least. Now, we're going to have a few people we think that are going to score that don't have much USS experience recently, but most of them have got at least somewhat of a background.
And how much interaction do you have with Tony and the other coaches at Palo Alto Stanford, not just during the high school season, but preseason?
Yeah, it varies. It varies depending on the athlete. I mean, Scott and I, we talk all the time. We talk a little bit more than Tony and I talk, but we touch base every once in a while and talk about, just swimming approaches and sometimes techniques, and just talk about athletes or check in about how kids are doing, either out of season or in season. Yeah.
So, as I keep saying during the interview, you guys placed second nationally last year among public schools. What did that feel like to know that you had done so well?
It was spectacular. It was it's one of those deals too, Jeffrey, where it takes a while for things to sink in. And so it wasn't until like a week after we started walking around thinking, this is a pretty big deal. And we have a very special group. And that, leading up to it, we felt a little bit of pressure because we knew what a special group we had last year. We knew what a singularly wonderful senior class we had last year. So we knew that this was our best shot in a long time, and we knew that we had to take advantage of it. And so, when you have that sort of pressure and when you think you can do it, and you actually do, it's a big deal. And so to see the CCS banners around school and to be able to walk around knowing you're sectional champs and to know that you're the second in the country, for a program like ours, we'd like to have that be an every year thing, but we know realistically it's going to be very difficult for that to happen. So we certainly do, appreciate what we have. What's
your background in swimming?
My background. I started USS swimming when I was 6 years old. I was at the Montclair swim team. I did some Oakland Barracuda aquatics. I did some coaching for them. I've coached summer league. I've done some volunteer assistant work back when Richard Quick and Ross Gary were running the Stanford team. I spent about a year and a half observing and helping Richard and Ross. And then after that, I took over the Gunn team. And I've been coaching primarily high school since then.
Now you're also an English teacher there at
Yes.
Gunn High School.
Yes.
Which career path came first, swim coaching or teaching English?
It was swim coaching. I actually started coaching as a year off before I was supposedly going to go to law school. And I did decently well, and it turns out a teacher was going on sabbatical. And at some point they said, how would you like to be a long-term sub for a semester? I said, sure. And then I did a job for the semester, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I've stuck with it ever since.
That's a very common answer that I've been hearing from a lot of swim coaches who also teach at their high schools is that they didn't expect to become teachers, and then they're finding that they really have this gift. I mean, what was it like for you that first year?
It was, I'll tell you, Jeffrey, that first year was a lot of chaos because I was in charge of boys varsity, girls varsity, boys JV, and girls JV. It was my first year of teaching. I had no assistants, so it was just me and all my full-time class load and 110 swimmers. So I honestly can't tell you much about what went on that year. I can tell you that it was a lot of stress and a lot of chaos, but I loved every minute of it at the time. So I definitely wanted to come back to it. And I'll say that's one of the things that's neat about teaching and coaching is that, if you're reflective and thoughtful about it, both jobs, both teaching and coaching, give you a chance to reflect and to amend and make changes to sort of improve yourself. And I really like that about both jobs.
Obviously, both have their very big rewards. At the end, you get to see these kids in the classroom excel. You get to see the kids in the pool excel.
Yeah.
What do you like most about teaching and coaching?
Well, what I like about the combination is that I get to see people in different avenues, and you get to see that, they're not always the same person. Sometimes the way they act depends on their environment. As far as what teaching goes, I like that teaching is never the same day twice. I like that, I get to interact with people as part of my job, and I like that I'm helping people learn more about English and become better understanders of the world, and help them improve and get themselves where they want to be. Coaching, I really like the tactics behind it. I like the technique behind it. And I love working with people in a setting where there's obviously a little bit less stress in the academic setting. I like that too.
I like that poster behind you, Independence Day. It's one of my favorite movies. You know, a suggestion I should make is this weekend during the finals of the CCS meet, you should give the speech that Bill Pullman gives to the troops at the end of the movie. I think that would inspire any of your
Today's
kids.
our Independence Day. Come on. We got, we shall not perish from the earth, I believe is another line from that, right?
Yep. I think if you want to get your girls fired up, I think that would be the way to do it.
I will take that in consideration. I will definitely consider that.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on winning the league meet. I'm sure it was a great accomplishment for you, and I'm sure it's going to springboard you guys into a great sectional meet.
Great. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you having me.
All right, so that was Gunn High School swimming head coach Mark Hernandez joining us for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. Be sure to stay with swimmingworld.com this weekend and next for high school championship recaps, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.